trespass upon them, they'll trespass upon you.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to another of my recommended by you reviews. This is a series of reviews that I do from films that have been recommended to me by yourselves, guys. A few weeks ago I asked for a lot of recommendations. I've already done some recommended by you reviews. I got quite a few through. And I said at the time, any that I hadn't seen, any that interested me, I would seek them out, watch them if I hadn't seen them before, especially. And give them a watch and a review. And this was one of them that was suggested, and it was suggested by, what is it now, Vetiware Demo, who gave me a whole list of suggestions, and this was on the list. And it is the Hallow, the 2015 horror film that is co-written and directed by Corin Hardy. Now, Corin Hardy is actually the director who directed The Nun. And it stars Joseph Maul and Bojana Novakovic. And it focuses on a young family, husband, wife, and baby, that move into like this old mill in Ireland. Now, for a living, what he does is, I think he's some kind of botanist or forester or something like that. He basically, you know, works on trees and plants and forests, that sort of stuff, and checks them out, tests them. And they've only been there a few months at this property. And they're not very popular with the locals. One in particular keeps warning them not to go into the forest, especially Adam, the husband, who's doing like all the checks on the trees and things. And basically he's saying that there's something in there that doesn't like people trespassing. And if you trespass on them, they will trespass on you. And that he's putting himself and his family at risk by going in there. Obviously, he thinks this is a load of old twaddle, like superstitious nonsense. So he carries on doing his job. But it does attract the attention of something deep within this forest. And it turns out then to be a fight for survival for him and his young family. Right. What are my thoughts on the Hallow? Well, I have to say, guys, I had some knowledge in the back of my head of this film. I'd heard of it before, and the poster certainly looked familiar. But I'd never seen it. But I have to say, after watching it, I was suitably impressed with this film. I thought it was really well made. You can see why James Wan kind of recruited Corin Hardy to become part of his Conjuring universe. And despite what you think of The Nun, and I know it's not one of the best Conjuring universe films, you can see that there is some talent here with this director. Well, even more so with this film, because this film I think is better than The Nun for sure. I think it's very, very well made. It's beautifully shot. There's some lovely cinematography. It's beautifully lit as well. Love the colour palette. It feels very gothic and old-fashioned while being modern at the same time. And it feels really gritty and grounded, like with the Irish setting. It feels like a dark fairy tale, and I think that's definitely what they were going for. Because this thing that is stirred up in the woods, I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of like a traditional creature feature, this, but they kind of put like a fairy tale spin on it, because they heavily suggest that what is in these woods, forest, is like fairies or dark fairies or something of the sort that just do not like being disturbed. And there are stories from the village of, you know, people's children getting abducted and all this kind of stuff. You know, children, baby stealers. Which begs the question why anybody lives around there in the first place. It is one of those films, though, that the more you think about the plot holes, the sillier it gets. As I've said, there's people in the village that have lost children to these things in the forest. Why are they there, then? Why have they not gone in there and hunted down what's in there? You could make all sorts of different arguments as to why you, A, wouldn't stay and live there, and B, why you wouldn't do something about it. And C, why you would allow this young family to move into this mill, and how is it for sale in the first place? You'd knock it down first, you know what I mean? You'd vandalise it, you'd destroy it. There's loads of different reasons as to why this film shouldn't take place, but it's a movie at the end of the day, and it does take place. And thankfully for me, it does. And it was very, very tension filled as well. There's some really, really great scenes in this. I think as well, I enjoyed the setup. You get a good 25 minute setup of, you know, the introduction to this family, and you're on board with this family immediately, because, you know, they're a loving family. They love the baby son, and it's only a little tot, it's only a little baby. You know, they're very young and innocent, and he's not doing anything wrong in this forest. He's doing his job at the end of the day. It's not as if he's damaging the forest in any way. So you're on their side. You don't want this young family, you know, to come a cropper, basically. And then when they are set upon by whatever is in this forest, it's really good. You know what I mean? Because it's all set at night. It's very tension filled. It's almost becomes like a siege film. You know, they've got to kind of fight them off. They've got to outwit them. All this kind of stuff. And it's really good as well. There's some nice body horror stuff going on in the film as well, here and there. I thought the effects were very good. Cleverly, it doesn't show too much too quickly, all this kind of stuff. It's almost Descent-like, you know, the Neil Marshall film. And in what these creatures look like, they're almost like that, but they're kind of crossed with the creatures from The Last of Us almost. There's like a fungal type effect to them. They're almost like tree-like in the way they look and all this kind of stuff. I like the whole concept of it. There's some clever use of lighting, like I say. They're scared of light, so they're always constantly trying to get the lights on to kind of scare them off. You know, flashing cameras to kind of scare them off, all this kind of stuff. So it sets up some pretty tension-filled shots, you know what I mean? You know what's coming in some of the shots, but it doesn't make them any less effective. So while I don't think this is like outstanding or anything, it is definitely worth a watch if you've never seen it. It's really well made. It's got some very good performances. It's nicely shot, but yeah, there are some silly plot holes here and there. But I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good, guys, and I'm really glad I watched this. I might even look to see if I can pick it up on Blu-ray and add it to the collection. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget, if you want me to consider doing a recommended by you review, fire some suggestions in the comments on this video, or indeed any video. Just let me know that it's a recommendation for recommended by you reviews, and I'll add it to the list. And I can't promise I'll get around to all of them. Of course I won't. But I will try and pick the ones that interest me the most. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back with loads more content on the channel very, very soon.